I'm Laura Ingraham. This is Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. Thanks for joining us. West winging it. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, for months now, we've been telling you that things have been coming off the rails inside the Biden White House. So you got cratering poll numbers, you got higher costs for everything. People are leaking on each other now. And at this point, you got to think that working for this administration has to be the most painful resume pad ever.
Guess what? Since 1938, the Republican 2-point lead on the generic congressional ballot is the best position for Republicans at this point in any midterm cycle in over 80 years. My estimate for the 2023 House makeup, if the election were held today, which again it isn't, we still have 5 months from tomorrow, would be Republicans 236 seats to 241 seats, Democrats 194 to 199.
That is a stomping, or that would be a stomping.
Yes, yes, it would. And yes, of course, it's Biden who's the drag.
In 1962, the president's approval rating, JFK's, was 71%. Bill Clinton in 1998, it was 63%. Joe Biden's is just 41%. Why is his approval rating so low? Well, I think this slide will give you the answer. This is the net approval rating on the economy at this point in a presidency. Joe Biden's minus 26 points. That is the lowest, tied for the lowest for any president in the last 40-plus years.
The faces at CNN tell the story.
Here, I think, is the big takeaway. Views on the economy are closer to, look at this, Republican Party 51%, Democratic Party 31%. Republicans lead on the issue that's most important. No wonder they have a historic advantage on the generic congressional ballot.
Frankly, I was shocked that CNN even did this report. It was well done, but they obviously see the writing on the wall. So imagine if, let's say back in early 2021, you were really excited to get a job with this company. You were thrilled then when you were hired, but then when you finally got inside, you realized that the CEO had trouble with the basic subject, verb, direct object thing.
I'm also sending to Congress a comprehensive package of that will enhance our underlying effort to accommodate the Russian oligarchs and make sure we take their ill-begotten gains. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy and the guys who are the kleptocracies.
I don't know what was most disturbing about that. It might have been the laugh at the end. Now, the most competent person at the White House was Jen Psaki. And now with her gone, things have gone from bad to worse, as Politico confirms in a new piece out today. Aides need to quell the finger-pointing that's been erupting internally and the increasing concern over staff shakeups, according to 5 White House officials and Democrats close to the administration. The president has expressed exasperation that his poll numbers have sunk below those of Donald Trump, whom Biden routinely refers to in private as the worst president in history. Okay, pot, kettle black. We're living through the worst presidency in modern times right now. And since, of course, they can't blame their idiotic left-wing policies, they just blame their staff. The First Lady and the president's sister are seething. Members of Biden's inner circle, including First Lady Jill Biden and the president's sister Valerie Biden Owens, have complained that West Wing staff has managed Biden with kid gloves, not putting him on the road more or allowing him to flash more of his genuine, relatable, albeit gaffe-prone self. Well, if the First Lady and Val are intimating that his staff is incompetent, well, they're kind of right about that. But on this rare occasion, his staff is 100% right. How many times can Biden almost start World War III with off-the-cuff remarks before they realize maybe don't do them? I mean, thank God he's only done one sit-down interview during the past 6 months. This week, he's going to be cuddly with cuddly liberal Jimmy Kimmel. Because what's happening right now to our country is apparently good for what? Comedic relief? But the idea that Biden is going to turn things around for himself by doing town halls across America or late-night shows or sit-downs with real journalists, it's laughable. The guy can barely read the teleprompter, and now he's going to do freestyle domestic and foreign policy? Just wing it in the moment?
I became aware of this problem sometime after April, in early April, about how intense it was.
But moments earlier in his meeting with top manufacturers,
we knew from the very beginning this would be a very serious event.
We could foresee that this was going to create a tremendous shortage.
Didn't the CEOs just tell you that they understood it would have a very big impact?
They did, but I didn't.
This is why Obama didn't think you should run, kids. Now, the staff isn't keeping him off TV because they want him to have low poll numbers. They're doing it because they know he is a complete disaster. Has everyone forgotten what Biden was like on the campaign trail back in 2019?
We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it?
New Hampshire. He spent oodles of time in New Hampshire and Iowa and got trounced in both states. It's not like he can lean on his new comms team either to deliver a powerful message.
In the EU, gas is $8.15 per gallon and has increased by $1.74. In Germany, gas is $8.88 per gallon. It has increased $2.16. In Canada, gas is $6.23 per gallon and has increased $1.93. There's no question that important interests are interwoven with Saudi Arabia, and the president views the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as an important partner on a host of initiatives that we are working on.
How do you have a high-level or effective immigration discussion with the region with the presidents of Mexico and 2/3 of the Northern Triangle countries boycotting this event?
I think we're able to still, have an array of conversations and to really focus on our agenda.
These briefings have gone from somewhat tolerable to downright terrible. Everyone knows it. Now, it's up in the air which is more cringy, Biden speaking without notes or his press secretary speaking with them. I'm going to call it a tie. Now, what Dr. Biden obviously doesn't understand is that there was only one argument ever for Joe Biden in 2020. And it was that he was harmless and kind of an affable figurehead who would allow the country to go back to normal. There wouldn't be any more drama. Well, obviously, that's out the window. Most people would choose some of that old Trump drama, hyped by the media, of course, over today's different type of drama caused by bad policy.
Pretty frustrated because the cost of living has gone up so rapidly. To have gas prices almost in the $7 range, that's difficult.
Well, when is it going to end? You know what I mean? Like it's just like a lot to take in, but you gotta get it. That's the thing. You have to pay for the gas. So there's nothing we can do.
I am quite frustrated by these rapidly increasing prices. It comes into play every single day. Do I want to drive to the beach now, or am I just going to kind of stay put?
Yeah, they want you to stay put, don't they? Now, no one, and I mean no one, actually wants to see and hear more of Biden or for him to sit in a room and make policy. The man's already presided over endless catastrophes on gas prices. His answer is to urge Saudi Arabia to produce more and let Venezuela sell it to Europe. American drillers, sorry, you're out of luck. On Ukraine, Biden was snookered. We've already blown about $53 billion there, and now Russia's taking more territory. In the end, Russia could end up owning a lot of the weapons we paid for. And soon, I promise you, Zelensky will ask for more money, and Biden and the establishment Republicans, Mitch McConnell, will greenlight it. It's a total travesty. On China, despite a record-high trade deficit, Biden is going to make it easier for China to ship unfairly traded solar panels through third countries. And today he declared an emergency to prevent the Commerce Department from using anti-dumping tariffs to stop this form of cheating. It's a total gift to the CCP, and because this emergency is supposed to last 24 months, it's likely going to kill off our own solar panel industry. As far as I can tell, Biden's plan for us seems to be the following. Keep the border wide open, hurt the suburbs and rural areas with high energy costs, ensure that America produces nothing really essential, encourage a lot of people, like that guy in that clip, to stay at home. Remember, federal workers aren't even showing up. And then, at the end of all that, hope that China ships us all the goods we need. Sending Biden on the road, letting Biden be Biden. Hey, that's going to be a gift to us at the Angle. Lots of fresh new material, gaffes, after-the-fact cleanups by the staff. But it will be hideous for the Democrats and more embarrassing for a nation already ashamed of the guy at the top. And that's the Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.